Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. Over there's Diamond Dave Damone. This is the Appleton Oak. That's the answer. I'm Mason Quinn. Folks, today we're taking a look at the fall of the House of Usher. This is the last episode, number 8, called The Raven. And it's been a fantastic series. Had a little bit of memories from high school with reading some Edgar Allan Poe, so it's been a lot of fun. You guys have been fantastic in the comments, so I can't wait to get to it.
Oh, this has been a great show. My first introduction into Flanagan, and this is amazing so far. And we all know the Raven. Come on, so I cannot wait to see. So I am ready, willing, and able to see what that bell is behind the wall.
I got it in there, guys.
I've really enjoyed all of the series by Mike Flanagan. I thought it was going to be hard to top Midnight Mass because Midnight Mass was incredible. But if I'm being honest, through 7 episodes, this one edges out Midnight Mass as my favorite. A lot of answers that we need to be given yet. So it's a little bit different than the previous series. I can't wait to see what plays out, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I honestly cannot wait to see what Mike Flanagan and crew have cooked up for this finale, because we've always said it felt like the second to last one where Mike and crew kind of went all, fireworks.
Yep.
Not in this series. I think it's going to be this one here, so let's go!
Sorry, I couldn't accept your resignation. She tried to loophole me.
Name your price.
Oh, sweetie.
What price?
You are funny. The numbers are already locked in. There's only a few more transactions left.
There's the bell.
There's the opening bell, rung today by a representative from Fortunato Incorporated.
God, Carla is just crushing this.
Oh!
Yes!
Damn it.
Always us.
You guys okay?
What she might have done to herself in her current state.
He mutilated her.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
She'll do what's right for the company.
Then you won't talk to her. I don't care what's good for the family or the company. This is about my mom. And if you think you're coming near her with another pair of pliers over my dead body, you ghoul.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Like the energy.
Whoa.
I'm proud of her. You know where she gets that from, right?
God, Mark Hamill has been so good in this show. So good.
Well, this is awkward. What else did you want?
Justice.
What does that look like?
For what you've done? I don't know.
Wow.
I'll know it when I see it.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, it's not the granddaughter.
She is the best of us.
You speak so highly of her, but you won't answer her texts.
Of all of my children, I most like Tamerlane. Outsourcing intimacy. Lenore always had that. She had custody, so I waited till they were old enough, and I just bombed them with money. Just flashed the whole life in front of them, and they picked me. Of course they did.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's Verna sending him text. Has to be.
But whatever if their mother had been in there.
Because he's buttoning up.
He's fidgety.
I saw her today, Annabelle Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabelle Lee.
How, though?
Well, he became everything she didn't want him to become in the name of money and fame.
Well, like...
How are you here?
Yeah, how did we lose her?
I look at you and I see you. The poverty of you.
Annabelle.
Maybe this is a kindness in disguise. Maybe they died in their childhoods.
Oh.
Self-inflicted?
Yes. Yeah.
Now you're walking the halls at Fortunato, Rufus Griswold's arm on your shoulder.
We're not done with him.
I have to go.
Don't be stupid.
No, I do.
I don't know you, Roderick.
She's not made for this world.
The man I know, the man that I love, could never. But you're not him, are you? I made him up.
God, it's such a tricky situation because the opposite of it was they didn't have no job.
Yeah.
My darling, my life, and my bride.
Okay, this is where we see him take the tumble. We're going to see the Joker again, or the Jester.
Yeah.
Send the bus. Keep up. Just
Where's the Raven?
This time. This time.
Is he talking to Verna there? Is he talking to Verna there?
Tell me what happened.
All right, Augie, let's get to it.
7 episodes later, it's time.
You sure I can't tempt you?
No.
Wish I'd said that.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go, Oak.
There's Rufus. Never been to an office party like that before.
I told the shareholders you are the best thing that has ever happened to this company.
You should tell them that it was your idea. That you and Roderick came up with it together and you just played your part.
No, I may have already said that. This bottle right here, this probably cost more than a year of your, your former salary. You can afford to take a bath of this stuff.
Your former salary.
Good. Hey, no. Don't be shy. Bottoms up. Let's go.
I'm gonna savor it.
Actually, gotta head to head real quick.
Yeah.
Neither of them drank it.
Yep.
And I just realized.
Oh.
Oh, boy. I just realized she's in the first season of Reacher.
Oh.
Neither of them drank it.
And he took
And he
two.
just had a second.
Yep.
Oh.
And look at it's the basement.
Basement.
What is that right there?
It looks like a radial arm saw.
This is gonna be the foundation.
Ah, the brick's half the way up over there.
wow.
You know what else? We can make all the noise we want.
Oh boy. Funny you mentioned that.
Oh, okay.
Patience, baby.
I thought you were a cold fish when I first met you, but I like you better this way.
You can get over here. You can do anything you want to me.
Oh,
Except that challenge, eh?
Yep.
Anything you want, stud. You big, strong, powerful man.
so he's starting to. Oh, I was gonna say, was he gonna piece it together before he tipped over?
No.
But-
And that's the clinging and everything we keep hearing.
And the bells.
Did you drug me?
I like how you pretended to be impressed with the bottle, like you can tell the difference between sherry and Amontillado.
Seriously, what is this?
I thought we were gonna see all the stages, but we may never get out of denial. We're gonna be finishing this wall and still be hearing, seriously, what is this?
Hey! Get me out of here right fucking now! I will fucking kill you!
Definitely not then. And actually, I think that makes this self-defense, so thanks for that.
Sorry.
Somebody! Okay.
God, this is so messed up.
Yep.
Roderick threw himself in front of the feds, took the bullet, and got everyone in the clear, but that doesn't mean that the feds weren't right. Falsifying data, forging signatures, fraudulent studies, and, well, grave robbing.
Yeah.
And the man behind it all, the man responsible, well, he has got to go, doesn't he? For the good of the company.
You want me to what? Resign? Confess? What do you want me to do?
Nothing.
This is disturbing.
Yeah.
This is like
Well, this is
pretty malicious.
This is what happens in the poem.
Yep.
That's behind us. I know. Okay? I misjudged you.
Their masonry is amazing.
Yeah, the sounds.
Madeline, you should come work for us. How does VP sound?
I was thinking COO.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. No, take a minute, but that's a great call.
It'll take a minute.
Long term, right?
Long term.
There was a candidate who already escaped the hangman once.
Maybe someone the board's already heard a lot about.
Someone, even Rufus. Like you said, you can make all the noise you want, and no one's due back at work for a week, so.
Oh, that's it. Nobody's due back for a week.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
bells.
There's the bell. There's the bell.
Is that the final
Is
brick?
the top row going to be a perfect thickness
Oh,
for a brick, or are
of
they going to
course it-
have
Oh,
to?
they had that planned.
They're going to have to get out a mason saw to cut a.
Oh, he's got to look at that.
Oh, I like the way they closed that off like that. That was intense.
Yep.
Sure no one will come down here.
No, not tonight. And he won't make it past morning, not with the cyanide.
Oh,
If he didn't taste it, he really didn't know shit about Sherry. I should have the rest of the night to be seen, but not scrutinized. You get it? Smaller venue, neighborhood, bar, something like that.
This was pre-Verna, too.
God, I thought it'd be louder.
I know.
Oh,
way.
Nice musical choice.
They're betrothed. And he is this bloated monster of a human just stuffing his maw with the company caviar. And I thought to myself, if that is who I'd have to serve, to fuck for diamonds and furs in a house on the Cape, forget it.
So there is a limit.
No, it's not a limit, it's a standard.
Here's how the deal came to be.
What about a woman's?
Hey, I thought we had a moment.
Oh, I'm nothing if not versatile. I find most people have a threshold, a qualifier. So what would you do to make your dreams come true? People talk a good game, but
Our mother used to tell us Bible stories. She talked about how the meek would inherit the earth. Well, she didn't inherit shit. So all these hypotheticals. Never have I ever Mary kill. The real world is Darwinian. Survival, chaos, power.
you're a killer, aren't you?
Funny you mentioned that.
She knew.
What else would you call it? I mean, you killed Rufus Griswold tonight, didn't you? You will be the king and queen of Fortunato, your birthright. CEO, COO, whatever you want. And I'll sweeten the deal. No legal consequences. Guaranteed.
Oh, that's why I could never be caught.
that would be Mark Hamill helping out.
We're sitting outside of time and space. This is the moment. Luck meets opportunity.
It's a hell of an offer. You gonna say it costs what, our souls or what?
Something like that.
For one, and even if there was, you already sold them tonight, one brick at a time.
She even knows how it was done.
What if I said you get all that, the whole thing, and the price is deferred? Let the next generation foot the bill.
Oh,
So that's the deal. You get the whole world, and when you're done, at the end of it all, just before you would have died, Roderick, just before you would have died anyway, your bloodline dies with you.
because none of them had a boy. I mean, he has one granddaughter.
We had Frederick.
Well, Frederick.
Hypothetically, how long would he live?
He, not we.
She's trying to get out of it.
You go out of it together, or no deal. I'm a creature of symmetry.
Those kids would have quite the life.
They could live decades with every luxury, every opportunity. Or they could live a little longer, but struggle.
Right there. That was the kicker.
Yep.
40 years, 50 years of a gilded life, or 70, 80 years of anxiety.
Oh, she is selling it.
I'd say that's a good deal.
That's a done deal.
And say,
Jeez.
I thought he would think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
You have a deal.
you too, Cleopatra.
Even she's surprised.
I don't even have kids. This is his thing.
You too.
That's why she tried to weasel out of it by taking him out.
Have a deal.
She thought the deal would leave with him.
I wonder if that's why she never had.
Never had kids,
Yeah.
too.
A deal's a deal.
Oh, here's the booze.
Doudignon, héritage, cognac.
That seals the deal.
You drink this on the best day of your life, or your last night on Earth.
And then he was asking Augie to.
Yep.
Well, for Augie, might be his best day of his
Yeah,
life.
it's-
He gets to nail him.
And it's
Or does
and it's Roderick's last.
It's crazy because it's like we were predicting it, and then now seeing it's still mind blowing.
Yep. How it plays out.
Because it's mind blowing how quick he was to say yes.
Lots to do, you two. Lots to do.
So, because I'm just wondering
We
what
should
comes of
settle
the
up.
granddaughter. I think that's what he's getting so worried about right now.
We just did.
Oh, you just did. Bill paid in full.
Yeah,
It's the
back to the
Raven.
Raven again.
Unreal. So then the granddaughter ends up living at least a 40, 50, and then
Well,
The
I don't
way
know. She said they all go at
they all
once.
go at once.
So it's
They
got-
all exit stage together.
yeah, the whole bloodline.
You think she meant?
she meant it.
Look at that.
Dude, so this whole time,
It
that
was-
conversation right there, they
It was just
didn't
all
really believe-
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, did this
Verna
really
had him in
happen?
there, and
It faded like a dream. Like by the time we got home, it didn't feel real. We were so worried about someone finding Grizz, we both kind of wrote it off.
Oh, so they don't even think they made a real deal.
Right.
well, after all the years, yeah.
A delusion shared by two.
Floyd. I love it.
Interesting.
Ligadome began, and over the years, it was just a weird dream.
Because they were destined to, whatever they did was going to be success.
Yep.
No matter what.
You said he found her.
Yeah,
Where was she?
same
Downstairs.
place she'd been the whole fucking time.
Downstairs. He wants Augie there to see his last moments. Has to be. No.
Oh, are they gonna beat her? Are they gonna beat death or whatever she represents?
This is so weird.
She's the noise downstairs.
But I thought she,
No way.
It's weird that
she
whatever
just,
they injected her with would work.
she just because she just vanished into thin
Yeah.
air at the
Supernatural.
at the thing. I think she gets out of this. I think Pym gets thrown down in the basement.
There's no
She's
way.
gonna be
Be
right
behind
behind him.
Successful.
She's gonna be right behind him.
It's gonna set up Undertaker style.
I'm leaving now.
Yep.
I couldn't help myself. You had your little guy parked out there for 2 days. I thought, you're beautiful at what you do. Can I get you a drink?
I was gonna say, is she gonna walk on it and it goes to nothing?
Yep.
Oh, he is freaked.
I've been looking forward to this.
She wants to know how many people he's 86, although she would probably know.
Yeah.
The body goes into an oil drum and gets dropped 100 miles out. That's still the dance?
There you go.
He's like, eh.
It's nothing personal.
Oh, I know, Arthur. And I kind of set you up.
Yeah. She knew Pym would come along. She had it all planned.
Really don't remember me. I was so impressed with you.
Was she up in the Arctic Circle?
Yep.
They're up there.
It's one of my favorite things about human beings. Starvation, poverty, disease. You could fix all that just with money. And you don't.
Wow.
Pleasure cruising, billionaire space race. Hell, you stop making movies and TV for 1 year and you spend that money on what you really need. You could solve it all with some
Who's she really talking to here?
The friendly fire, hit in the gut. And there was that woman, too. That Inuit woman. Not you. You didn't partake.
Oh.
And you saw me, too. Didn't you? Standing on the ice. The aurora above. What happens to you when the ushers are gone? Which is imminent. You've enjoyed a sense of immunity throughout your life, but it isn't yours. It's theirs, just reflected.
Let me guess. You can do something about that.
I can. One of my clients. When I'm done, you can stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody.
One of my clients.
The family trust will turn over $4.5 billion, including federal settlement fees, paid in installments over 9 years.
It's a pretty sweet deal.
Christmas present. Slap on the wrist that comes with a blowjob. So you can either ride the phoenix out of Fortunato's ashes, or you can watch it fly away from a federal prison cell.
What are you asking in return?
Making a new deal.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in money, property, or stock options. True assets.
What life
What
have
have you
you?
got?
What does he have?
No man or woman has leveraged me in 70 years of life. Thank you for your consideration and for your generous offer. I think I'll play out my hand if it's all the same to you.
Wow. He just did what the ushers should have done.
Yep.
He just did exactly what they should have done. So he's this sketchy dude the whole time, covering up for the ushers.
This has been a pleasure.
Touch of death?
Yep.
Nope. Just saying goodbye.
And I think maybe not having Fortunato anymore. Maybe it's a good thing for you. That place wasn't good, Grandpa.
No, you're right, but
She's very sharp.
Maybe you'll make it good someday.
She doesn't want it.
I mean, you've got more money than you'll ever be able to spend, than I'll ever be able to spend. Let's put it to work. Try to fix things. Let go of Fortunato and Ligadone and all the bad stuff. We did bad stuff, Grandpa. Our family did bad stuff. It's not too late to fix it.
That whole thing right there was, I felt like him, not, oh no.
Who are...
She's gonna let her go.
The terms were clear. And they're just... Have a seat.
She's going to be nice and give her the warning at, like, hey.
I don't know. Deal with you.
There's a lot about my job I love, but there are moments like these that bring me no joy. I hope you know that. Let me tell you a story about your mother. See, she recovers very well now that she's in the clinic. Takes 3 years, more than 100 skin grafts.
Oh my God, it's happening.
Domestic violence and abuse charities, but keeps enough to start a nonprofit. She sets up chapters all over the world. She calls it the Lenore Foundation.
Oh.
And she saves a lot of lives. Would you like to know how many? It's millions. More than 3 million, in fact. And then it gets hard to count because the people she helps help others. This is the part I really want you to hear. You did that. When you defied your father, you did that. I thought you should know that.
Oh my God.
That's all it took.
Sentient AI project scans your social media posts and makes a digital view. She used Lenore as a beta test. Lenore bought a little bit ago. I guess the goddamn thing was activated because it's been texting me all night. I'm stuck on some nonsense.
Nevermore.
Yes.
Oh. Quote the raven.
Once upon a midnight dreary.
Yeah.
Weak and weary.
Are his eyes turning black?
There it is.
But the silence was unbroken. The stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore.
Unreal.
Streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul, from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore.
You know, this series does a really good job of saying, "Hey, time flies."
Yep.
And then when it's your time,
and what really matters in life.
Well, I guess we finally come to it, haven't we?
Oh,
Jesus.
World without pain. That was the whole point. Nobody can stomach a little discomfort. I waved my wand, was never enough. They just kept wanting more, and more.
Oh, honey. Don't kid a kidder.
thank you. I was just gonna say he's been delusional this whole time.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked with a lot of truly influential people over the years, but when it comes to sheer body count, you're in my top 5. Take a look.
Oh. Out
gonna
the
start-
window.
Is that Pym?
Those are your bodies.
Oh,
Yeah.
just yeah.
New one every 5 minutes, just in the States, but open it up to the world.
Oh, look at
Oh. Look at that.
wow.
That's your true monument, Roderick.
Jeez.
Look at them piling
Pile.
up.
That's your legacy. Give yourself a minute, and then find your way home. Our business is almost done. You're going to call Auguste Dupin and ask him to meet you.
Man, that is a cool shot.
You said that's Madeline down there.
It is, at least I think it is. I called you and I came here.
Oh, God.
Stupid dark screen.
Oh,
Okay.
that's Madeline.
Yep.
Roderick?
Where'd they go?
Roderick, are you here?
Down here.
Is this supposed to be what happened before?
I got your message. I don't know what to say.
That's a pretty big pour.
Well, your last night.
I guess there must be something we're meant to wrap up. Drink?
You know what? Yes, what?
There she is, from the younger self.
Said it was you and me against the world. We said we'd change the world. We did, didn't we?
No,
We did.
no, you didn't.
Not for the better.
Yeah, not for the better.
I'm just talking in terms of the deal they made. It wasn't them.
Yeah.
It was the deal.
Would we have done anything different if we believed that woman in the bar was real? I suppose that's the only question left.
Yeah, they had.
Did you believe it? I
Yeah, but how they got out of so much,
Yeah.
you know.
remember what I believe.
This is the most interesting part.
I will get around to funding AIDS research and diabetes and heart disease just as soon as we figure out how to keep our geriatric for a few more minutes. Look at Cher on Wimpy Day. They're for the labor and to spend what little they make consuming. And what do we teach them to want? Houses they can't afford, cars that poison the air, single-serve plastic. You and me against the world. Don't care if it's death herself. She wants Madeline. Fucking Usher. She's gonna have to look me straight in the eyes.
Yep.
Oh,
He didn't drink
He
anything.
didn't drink.
No, Andy slid her his glass
Yep.
even.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But it just won't be her time, and she'll just. Oh.
Is he doing the
what Camille was talking about? All the Egyptian style stuff.
No way.
You are a queen. You're a goddess.
How much are they gonna show?
What did you do?
I sent her off like a queen. Queen Tusret. As a matter of fact. That's the thing. Why they buried them with the things they buried them with, things they needed in the afterlife. She'll have everything she needs down there.
What the hell
What a
is going
twist.
on?
I honored her.
Right. And after you honored her, are you sure she was dead?
You know, maybe not.
Oh no.
Our mother was the same way. Thank you for coming tonight.
What if Verna wouldn't let Madeline go?
That's what I'm
Saying,
thinking.
yeah, just like him.
Yeah.
It may not have been perfect, but you can't say we didn't change the world. How many people can say that at the end?
That's probably what happened because the deal is both of them, not just one.
Yeah, not
both.
just one. He tried breaking the deal.
Yep.
I knew I would climb to the top of the tower on a pile of corpses. And we told them it was about soothing the world's pain.
Oh, this is getting intense.
There's no such thing as a painkiller. And imagine if we put that on the bottle.
All right, here it comes over his left shoulder.
I bet I still could have sold it.
Oh.
Oh, he cut her eyes out.
He did.
What the hell?
Nevermore.
Oh, get the hell out, Augie! Go! Get out!
Well, that would be the fall.
Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh, there she is.
Look at that shot.
Wow.
Look at her eyes.
Oh,
The Raven. Oh, I got goosebumps right there.
I put in for retirement, and I went home. Juno inherited everything.
Oh.
The Phoenix Foundation.
Every dollar went for rehabilitation programs, addiction and recovery research, and she weaned herself off Ligadone.
So it would take 3 agonizing years.
Yeah.
After Camille's former assistants turned over a mountain of files to the police.
Well, he knew his fate, though.
Yep.
He accepted it.
Yep.
He surrendered himself at the courtroom and didn't utter a word in his defense.
He's going to see Verna.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We don't want your confession or your rationale or your explanation. I'm going home to my husband, my kids. I'm the richest man in the world. You know that?
Because he has family.
Family.
Oh.
Oh.
No.
The spirits of the dead who stood in life before thee are again in death around thee, and their will shall overshadow thee. Be still. The night, though clear, shall frown, and the stars shall look not down, with light like hope to mortals given, which would cling to thee.
Oh, man.
I was wondering what she was going to do for Leo.
Yeah. Lenore.
Now are visions ne'er to vanish.
That wasn't for Leo. That was Frederick, the bag.
The breeze, the breath of God is still, and the mist upon the hill. Shadowy, shadowy, yet unbroken, is a symbol and a token.
All that.
How it hangs upon the trees, a mystery of mysteries.
Well, one last time, fellas. This was awesome.
I don't think there's anything left here.
I don't think there's anything left either.
There's not going to be any after credits.
Just the piano.
Just the music is all you're going to hear.
Yeah, just the piano. We should honor some of the credits.
There might be
Just one or two. Hey, that's it. That was
Pitch perfect.
Since you like the wall of House of Usher, we suggest Pitch Perfect.
Did you love this?
It's on the list for you guys.
Did you love it? Jesus. Is it on the list?
It's on the list.
Oh,
That just made the list.
this is like the third time in a row that we've got done watching like heavy content.
Yeah.
And hey, why don't you watch this?
And it's like a nice upbeat.
You know what? They're probably thinking like, wow, after this, we need to suggest something upbeat.
They'll really pick 'em up.
So maybe this is very
Get it? This was a great show.
I think
but we need you to liven up.
They don't want us watching anything else.
I think those girls in that singing group made a deal with Verna. Shh, I'll make you the best singers ever.
But
Jamie, all right.
Matt Johnson, not the Matt Johnson I know.
That's it, folks.
That's it. That's all. There ain't no more.
Holy shit.
And quote the Raven, nevermore. The Newton brothers. All right.
Yeah. Hey, Newton. It was the Newton brothers.
Yeah, that's what
hey,
they said.
The Newton brothers. Fantastic job on the score.
they
for
couldn't.
This one.
They couldn't give them
Holy
like
shnikes.
Bill and Gary. They just said they probably requested that.
Yeah, they probably.
Wow.
You know, okay, so how long do you guys want to talk about Madeline's speech at the end? Because that's an hour right there. We could go off on that.
Yeah.
That's a whole 8-hour day for him.
So there's a lot that we can break
Lots to
down
unpack
here.
here.
We can break down the TV show in and of itself, the Edgar Allan Poe stories, or we can talk about the two speeches at the end.
I mean, Augie's whole thing. I mean,
Roderick was here.
Woo!
Yeah, it's empty. So you know he was here.
Got to have a little levity after that one. But
Oh my goodness.
So I said this from episode 2 of this series that this was my favorite in the Mike Flanagan's
series.
work. I won't say Flaniverse because he doesn't like it.
He doesn't
just
like
did.
that.
So, but yeah, after episode 2, I knew that this was going to be the one that I absolutely loved above all of them. And honestly, I mean, I'm in the moment. I just saw it. It's maybe easy to say, but it's not even close in terms of where I would rank them. This is so far above everything else. It shows that done correctly, some literature and some work is timeless, right? Like most people who watch this would never think to pick up an Edgar Allan Poe book or, poetry works or anything like that. They would never even think to look at it. But shown in the correct fashion, it hooks just about everybody. And I can't imagine who out there wouldn't be into this unless you weren't into stuff that's scary / supernatural, and that's just not your thing. Maybe you just like sports and reality TV. I don't know what to tell you, but I just really loved that Mike Flanagan and his whole crew was able to bring just some classic literature into the modern era and present it in a way that had people hanging off of every word. That was just so incredibly done. The thing that I'm going to touch on, I guess, and then I'll toss it over to you guys because we have so much to talk about, is I really liked what Augie said at the end. Like, he's got his husband, he's got his kids, he's got his grandkids. And I think what he was kind of showing is that effectively, once you get to a certain level of wealth where your Maslow's hierarchy of needs are met, you're not starving, you have food, you have shelter, you're not cold. It does get to a point where, like, how much money do you need? You effectively have everything you would need, and what would determine your wealth is your time and the people around you and how you choose to spend it. Because, things, I think we've had this theme before on the channel. It's been quite a while, but things don't talk back to you. You can buy the Ferrari and it's going to lose its luster after a while, but your family and your friends, that's the things that matter. Oh,
Dave's like, doesn't
drive around. They're loud. They're uncomfortable. They break down all the time. They're a pain in the ass.
Take the Ferrari out of it. Insert
but anyhow,
your favorite
not
car.
to get off track. Yeah. But that's the thing, like, and effectively, Augie was every bit as wealthy as the Ushers without, all the money and everything else, because he had everything that he could wanted, and he finally got that closure and was able to go home and enjoy his life. I thought that was great. And Madeline's speech almost had like a Fight Club level to it. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it, so I'm not going to expand on it.
I have not seen it.
So I won't, but I'm sure you folks in the comments can appreciate that. And what she said was very unique. Like, look, this whole time the Ushers were the bad guys. They were the ones pushing this stuff. Madeline kind of threw it back in everyone's face and said, hey, hold on. You guys wanted this. You demanded this. The options were there, but you chose effectively the easy route or whatever it might be. So I thought that was really interesting that she had that chance to almost kind of throw it back in our faces as the viewer a little bit. That was really well done, and this series was just top notch. You guys, I can't wait to hear what you guys think.
For me, this was, what a great first impression of Mike Flanagan and his work. Just the interpretation of all the Edgar Allan Poe work, it was great. I mean, well, you said it, who knows will make a cut, but we both had goosebumps when he said that night and dreary, and like I'm just like, oh, he's going right into it. Yep. And how he switched Nevermore with Lenore there at the one point too, and then went into it, and then finally hit us with the Nevermore. I had an English teacher actually and when he was in college, they had to memorize the whole Ravens poem, and he actually did it for class and did it flawless. It was amazing, and so it's always been fun to see the Edgar Allan Poe work. And especially this getting put in the show where they used it so perfectly. I mean, Verna was just perfect in every single aspect they had her as being the deal broker for Roderick and Madeline, and just like, hey, you could have 70 to 80 years of just anxiety and maybe eventually get there, or you can give it to you like flawless victory style where no law ever won against you. Like we all were like, wow, this lawyer is good, but we see him doing crossword puzzles in court and stuff like that.
Had to work at
but it was like, it was like everything was always given to him on a silver platter to be able to win those court cases because they had nothing going against him. And then the interpretation of the damage that they did, where the rain turned into the bodies, I thought that was brilliant and a great way to show, hey, this is what you've done, and this is a way to show you without just giving you numbers, because at the end of the day, numbers, it's terrible to hear, but they're numbers. But then when you actually see it and it's filling the streets in front of you, man, that was just heavy. And then especially her going, when's the last time you drove? And then you come here barefoot on your way home. And then him trying to do, like, taking Madeline out as a queen. Like, I'm sorry, you guys are not kings and queens, right? Especially right now. And all the damage you've done. And I love the little boardroom scene too, where they had all the kids back. Like, poor, what was the first one to go where he got all put on?
Perry.
Perry.
Perry got all
Poor Perry had to get in all that makeup just to sit in the chair, at the end of the table to look at it. But this was just an amazing, amazing show, and I am so happy that this was the first one I started with. You guys got lucky and saw the other one, so.
And the one thing I do have to say to answer is, like, you feel like you're lucky starting with this. I don't know, because the way I see it, and I think these two guys will agree that out of the series that we've watched, they've all been really good, but this is kind of the best. So
that's where I was saying. Like I think I saw the best of the best.
You got lucky that you saw the best, but I'm like kind of thinking like,
you
okay,
guys
now
are lucky
you have
because you got to build up to that.
Now you have to follow up, and they're all very good. So I don't want to like say like, oh, you already saw the best one, the other ones are whatever. It's
Which one?
Yeah. So I just want to say on top of it to add that while this is a pretty high bar, keep in mind that these are all completely different.
I know they're going to be different, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying with how well this
they're all
was
going to
done.
hit different.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
So I think the first thing that I would like to start off saying, just not even about the script or whatever, is just about Mike Flanagan and his crew of actors. I'm not a movie director or a TV show director, but I would imagine each project you have, you have these characters. You try to find the people who are best suited to play them. You go out, you go through the audition process, and he's had this unique thing of reusing these cast members for each show. And the stories, as we just said to answer, have been very, very different, right? Very different stories, all equally as, kind of captivating, but very different. And all of these actors have done such a phenomenal job at playing very different characters. We have Bruce Greenwood, Carla Gugino, Rahul Kohli, Samantha Sloyan, Henry Thomas, Tania Miller. I mean, so many people, Zach Gilford. There's been so many people who have been part of this, these projects. I'm not going to say Flaniverse. No, it isn't like that. And apologies for previously saying that. But these projects, I'm so mind blown that he's been able to come up with these just phenomenal stories. Obviously, for this one, he had great source material, but that these actors have been able to step into these different roles and just knock it out of the park. I think it's so incredible. So that's the first thing. And look, I think give credit where credit is due to the actors. I mean, they can only work with the story that they have, but I mean, the acting and Henry Thomas, as we've seen him in so many different characters. He made it so easy to just not like him, especially in the later episodes.
Get his bumpers up in the bowl.
Phenomenal. The story itself, I was more of like a history type social studies person. I wasn't much of an English person, and our teachers had us do a little bit different stuff. So of course I'm familiar with Edgar Allan Poe. The Raven stuff, but I didn't know the stories like these two guys did, and so I didn't follow along the same for the episode. So my experience watching this was a little bit different than theirs, and part of me was like, okay, do I look up like the Edgar Allan Poe stories and try to look ahead at what the next episode is and what story it is, familiarize myself with the story, but I didn't want to come in with any sort of spoilers, I guess you could say. So not knowing the backstory for any of these, I appreciated the story, I think, equally as much, just in a different fashion. Yeah. The writing was phenomenal. The way that, and again, I don't have any frame of reference, but the way they told all these stories was great. The endings were very creative. All in all, this was a phenomenal series. This last episode, I like the way they put the bow on it and tied it up a little bit different than the episodes that we've seen before. Diamond Dave and Mason Quinn, and we've talked about how the second to last episode, at least in Hill House and Bly, I think were like the big ones. In Midnight Mass, and this one, it felt like it wrapped it up a little bit more at the end. So I just thought this episode was phenomenal. All the dialogue, how we got the backstory. I thought it was very interesting that Madeline and Roderick kind of like didn't necessarily know if it was real or not, because I think that we all kind of got the like make the deal with the devil thing, right? Yep. But I don't know that we knew whether they like went in making like an actual deal and they walked out like
they brushed it off.
Was that real? Was that just a hypothetical conversation? Which gave the whole story more realism, because look, take yourself in that situation. If you go down, you're having some drinks, it's late at night. Oh, would you make this deal?
You just off your boss?
No, right. I think unequivocally, if somebody told me like my son and my entire bloodline, like and look, I know we all like I work hard to have nice things and stuff like that, but all the money in the world would never, and I mean this, and I know people can say all the money in the world wouldn't cause me to sacrifice a single thing for my son or his kids or anything like that. So it was a little sketchy when Roderick was like, yeah, whatever.
Right away, he was
like, your kids,
zero thought.
But your kids, when you pass, well, what about your grandkid? Like bloodline, and it's interesting that Verna said that, like, people never get bloodline, but even your kids. So in any regard, whatever. The thing that hit me really hard was Madeline's speech at the end. It's easy to kind of point the finger at the drug companies for, whatever. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who hasn't been touched by the opioid epidemic. I know I've lost people, I have friends who have struggled. It's a very real thing. She had a very interesting take on consumerism, which I think we could all talk for, days and days and days. I'm sure people will debate in the comments and stuff like that. But that was a really interesting take on, consumerism as well, and kind of this back and forth between, these mega corporations, making products and doing what they have to do for their bottom line. But then on the consumerism side, we're the ones who are demanding it. And, she brought up food, she brought up clothes, she brought up all these different things where we're the ones out making those decisions. And so that was a really interesting back and forth that I wasn't ready for, because I felt like the show, kind of the entire series, was pointing the finger at Fortunato and Ligadone, and then Madeline kind of flipped it. So that I feel was really interesting, and I think again, this is a debate you can go back and forth on for a long time, and I think there's very interesting sides to both. But all in all, the stories, and look, again, I don't know the past stories, but I'm guessing there was some adaptations and some unique writing. So shout out to the stories, shout out to all the actors. Lessons upon lessons about family and greed and what we value in life. Augie's speech at the end, I'll mirror Mason Quinn's sentiment. Like, guys, I'm not kidding. Like, like I said, we work hard to have a roof over our head and cars and stuff. But if I had to take my fiance and my son and my brothers and my sister and live in a fucking cardboard box and start over, I would do that, and I would still consider myself more lucky than Roderick Usher in this show. And I know that sounds like I'm on a soapbox or I'm trying to be whatever, but I think like that's the reality. And it's interesting when you look at somebody like Roderick and you think like, God, are there people out there who really think like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's hard. So the show makes you think a lot, and I really appreciated that.
To kind of respond to that, like, I think people do feel like think that, right? Because we don't know when our time really is, so like kind of, and I'm let me ask you guys this: if you made it this far, if Verna came to you and said X, Y, and Z like she did in there, what goes through your head? Are you making the choice knowing that 40 to 50 years of basically almost perfection and good health and good fortune come to your bloodline, or there's a chance that it's the opposite for 80 years.
Yeah, just suffering
of
poverty.
Yeah, along those lines. Personally, I would need more than 5 seconds to consider, because again, if I'm thinking like, hey, and I'm not. Hopefully, this isn't like too sensitive for some folks, but we're just kind of going with it. I'm thinking like, man, my time could be tomorrow with an accident or some other
deal
bad
that
stuff.
she made. Remember, she said that she told Roderick that he would live longer than any other Usher male, so she did guarantee him a semblance of he would live to be older. But even in this, he wasn't like that.
We didn't know it was all going to be over in 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, as in like really thinking, because not to sound weird, but I do ponder death and having the lights.
I think
the lights are out. Like, that's it, kind of thing. And this show is pretty much all about death. Now, this whole last episode, I don't know if it made the cut, but I said something in there along the lines of like, man, this really puts it. I think it was during the rain scene, maybe. Man, I don't even know. My head's so spinning right now.
Crazy.
Spinning.
Where it was like, well, man, just the thought process of all this, just knowing that, all right, in about 5 minutes, my time's coming, and just seeing all that just kind of like flash before your eyes, of whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, whatever. I mean, I'm probably going to be thinking about this episode probably at least for the next 24 hours. The power of the writing in this, of course, from great source material. Now, with that being said, I do remember touching some Edgar Allan Poe stuff, and I think it was freshman in high school, but I don't remember anything from it. And kind of like what you were saying, Dave, I didn't want to go, during the episode
and kind of get
educate myself a little bit. But now that this is done, I am going to go back now and kind of research some stuff, because really the only thing that pops in my head is, of course, pro wrestling. Wrestling character named Raven. Raven, Nevermore, that whole gimmick. So that's really the only standout. That's currently right now. I'm not ashamed. I can't remember most of the stuff I went through in freshman year in high school. But really, what hit is, I know you guys were kind of like doubting it, but with the granddaughter.
Yeah, Lenore.
Because when she said bloodline.
As soon as he said that, I was like,
oh no. You guys are like, no, she's still good. And then I was like,
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I thought maybe she would have a chance because she wanted to do something good with it.
Yeah. I mean,
but it didn't matter.
And it was crazy.
In a weird sort of way, she kind of did. Yeah. But
it was crazy how that ended for her, right? Because Verna had her come sit down. And then I think her last words after she asked, "Do you want to know how it turned out for your mom?" Yes, that was her last words. And then the touch of the head, and it was it. Like, how crazy is that? Like, you got to hear all the good from your decision, her decision, came out of that. Like Verna said, 3 million plus lives, just because of what you did here. But sorry, sayonara.
See,
Like this whole episode for Mike Flanagan and the crew here. Bravo to the crew, cast and crew. You guys knocked it out of the park here. Maybe I'm still in the moment. I don't know. Maybe I got to do rewatch some of this stuff. But geez, this is.
I think this would.
I'm still spinning.
We're reactors, right? So we watch TV and movies. So just on my downtime, I find myself I don't watch as much TV on my downtime.
Same here.
Time at home as we do now. So I don't know that I would go through and do a rewatch of a lot of the things that we do. But if anything that we've done is worth a rewatch, I think this would be it, because I would almost like to at this point go learn about each story and then rewatch knowing about the stories. One thing that I found very interesting that I just want to like touch on and get your guys' opinion is when Verna was going through like the deal with them, she was saying, well, you could either have riches or a lifetime of struggle. And it's like, well, you're basically either saying rich or like a normal life, but was there any rule saying like you couldn't just like work and like try to do normal stuff for yourself, that you couldn't be moderately successful through hard work?
Well, right, because it made it sound like Roderick was going to get busted, blackballed, not able to work anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, because
he knew he wasn't going to be done.
Like that's a different hype. There's one hypothetical like here's billions of dollars, but when you go, your kids go, versus a lifetime of pain and suffering and stuff. But they go and you go versus like, well, can I turn down the billion and we just like work normal jobs and my kids try to make it on their own?
I go work in a warehouse.
That creates a different tone. If it's like, well, because look, as a parent, like let's say I live to 80 and my son lives to, he's still younger than me, whatever. But if I knew he was going to live to 40 and all 40 years were going to be nothing but pain and suffering, then it's like, yeah, you look at the deal a little different.
Exactly.
But if it was like, well, rich or you just go about your normal life, well, no, go about your normal life. But the other interesting thing is that with a bloodline that we didn't think about Roderick, that they made a point, is he kept having more and more and more kids. So Perry was what, 19?
Yeah, right.
And so that's the one thing, like obviously he didn't
drink, I think.
He
so.
didn't
like,
think
I think
about
he was like 21, 22.
No, I thought
he was in clubs.
I thought they said
he was in clubs.
Well, it's because he was
rich.
I thought they said he was 19, but it was like Perry was young, Leo was youngish,
Lenore, of course.
I mean, it only looked like Frederick and Tamerlane were the two oldest, and it seemed like they were still only in their 30s.
Oh, geez, you know where we're forgetting about Annabelle too. Like, what a reveal!
That's what I was gonna say too. How she's like, how they got the kids? I'm rich. So then it was great that Augie at the end says that he's rich because of what he has versus. Yeah. She threw the money in his face, saying that's why you're saying you're rich. But also, Pym did take the right offer for the good.
Mason Quinn touched on a little bit, and that's kind of the last thing. I watched an interesting interview, just a clip with Dan Bilzerian. If you know who he is, whatever. Just all over the globe trotting kind of Playboy type guy. But he had an interview where he talked about like at some point he said he's worth about $300 million, which was a big question for a lot of years, how much he's actually worth. And he said, interestingly enough, said when you get to a certain point, buying more doesn't. And it's funny that you said Ferrari because he's like that. He's like, I bought a Ferrari and drove it twice and it sat for a year and I sold it. And he talked about, obviously, and his speech was almost word for word what you said. When you cover your basic needs and have money to, like, look, just having, four-wheelers and motorcycles and boats, yeah. But it's like at some point, like, the stuff that you buy stops making you happy.
Yeah.
It was very interesting because he's a guy who's been very outward about, lots of money and flashy stuff. And to hear him say, like, at this point, buying stuff and having more, he's worth $300 million, which is an insane amount of money, but not even close to the billionaires we have, which I'm sure Roderick Usher was. And it's interesting that you touched upon, like, at what point after your basic needs and toys and stuff are met, does having more and more and more money,
doesn't even matter.
Does it make you happier? And a guy that's worth $300 million said, like, no, buying stuff and having more than that amount, like, doesn't make you happy. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, because, like, let's just say hypothetically you're worth $1 million. Let's just say, well, you're effectively, to a point, you're as rich as Jeff Bezos. Now, I know that sounds weird to say, right? But, like, in terms of your level of freedom and being able to do what you want, like, yeah, you can't go buy an aircraft carrier or something like that, but effectively, you had the same amount of time and you can pretty much do whatever you
Well,
want.
not $1 million anymore. Like
Well, yeah,
houses are,
little
normal
inflation.
houses aren't going for $1 million.
But you know what I'm
get
saying?
what- you know.
Maybe the number's a bit higher or whatever. But yeah, effectively, you're on the same playing field. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you guys real quick before I wrap up here is, what if Fortunato would have been like some amazing company that instead of all those lives being taken out at the end, it would have been lives they would have saved with some kind of, miracle medicine or charities or new technologies or ways to educate people or to bring, clean water and stuff like that to places. If it would have gone that route, does that change the deal they make with Verna?
Well, no, so I know you're going about the deal with Verna, but think about it. In a sense, though, it technically did happen.
It did happen with Lenore.
Yeah, with Lenore, and that's.
But if they could have done it without all the collateral.
No.
And
the thing is he already had the drug developed before he even talked to Verna. So it wasn't like he talked to Verna then. I have this amazing.
The one thing, it's also easy to villainize drug companies, and I have a few friends who are doctors, and we've had some interesting discussions about the villainization of drug companies. And he said yes. But he's like, let's also, it's easy to look at, of course, the opioid epidemic, but he's like, I'm not, I get there's bad stuff. He goes, but there's a lot of drugs that have been developed through these companies, through just insane trials and money that have done great things for people as far as, curing certain diseases and things like that. So, it's like I said, it's easy to point the finger at the drug companies, at bad guys, but there are a lot of things that they have done that have just infinitely changed people's lives. But yeah, you bring up a good point. What if a company made a ton of money, doing just really good stuff?
We found a way to make cheap, unlimited energy. So that's not a problem anymore. So it would have been interesting.
But it's again, it goes back to very interesting discussions about major corporations, how much money they're making, what they're willing to do to make the money, consumerism, and everything in between. And it's a very complicated discussion. And I think there's a lot of different sides of the fence you can sit on, and there's no right or wrong answers.
We're done sitting on that.
Congratulations, though. The actors crushed it. The crew, you crushed it.
Oh my God!
Awesome job. Keep bringing it, Mike. Just don't stop. I don't know if you're. I think you're on Prime now, but whatever. Keep it coming.
Wherever you go, we will definitely follow. That is for damn sure. I enjoyed my
See
first
you guys in the comments.
first run there. So for Diamond Dave, Appleton Oak, that's Mason Quinn. I'm of course the answer.
Awesome.
Quote the Raven, nevermore, and good night, pals.